There is a book, so powerful, so forbidden, that legend says anyone who reads it gains dominion over the heavens, the earth, and the underworld. Not a book of stories, not a book of religion, but a manual for gods. They called it the Book of Thoth, a mythical tome said to contain all the magical wisdom of ancient Egypt, encrypted in symbols, protected by curses, and hidden across centuries of secrecy. It was never meant for the masses. Only initiates, the chosen few, were allowed to approach its pages. Pages that whispered secrets about life, death, and the invisible threads weaving all reality together. But the story of the Book of Thoth is not just a tale of ancient hieroglyphs or dusty tombs. It is the story of forbidden knowledge. How sacred truth was encoded, concealed, and passed on in symbols and metaphors, in temples, in dreams, and perhaps even in you. You see, this book may never be found in a library, yet its teachings echo through every true mystical tradition. Hermes Trismegistus, the Emerald Tablet, the Tarot, the concept of logos, all of them may trace back to this singular origin point. In this video, we will enter the hidden temple behind the myth. We'll journey into the lost mind of Thoth, the god of wisdom, writing, and divine magic. We'll unravel the secret history of the book said to unlock immortality, bend time, and speak to the soul in a language older than words. But be warned, this is not a story for the merely curious. This is a path for the inner seeker, for the one who has felt the silent call of hidden truth beneath the noise of the world. What you are about to hear is not entertainment. It is remembrance. It is initiation. And if the spark is still alive within you, it will know. The origins of the Book of Thoth are not anchored in the timelines of ordinary history. Instead, they spiral through myth, metaphysics, and the inner architecture of consciousness. To understand it, we must journey beyond linear time, back to the golden age of ancient Egypt, where the divine and the earthly were not separate, but intertwined. The book's namesake, Thoth, was no mere god in the Egyptian pantheon. He was the cosmic scribe, the Jehuti, the one who recorded the thoughts of Ra, measured the stars, and maintained the equilibrium of the universe through divine mathematics, sound, and language. He was often depicted as an ibis-headed figure holding a writing palette, standing at the junction where spirit becomes form. It is said that Thoth was the inventor of writing, alchemy, astronomy, and the measurement of time itself. But more than that, he symbolized sacred gnosis, knowledge not learned, but remembered. Knowledge that awakens something dormant within. Legends speak of a book written by Thoth himself, not in ordinary ink, but in symbols infused with vibrational power. According to the famed ancient tale recorded in the Demotic Papyrus of Set and Kamwas, the book was hidden in a secret chamber beneath the Nile, guarded by serpents and curses. It promised its reader mastery over the earth, the heavens, and the netherworld, but also warned of madness and destruction for those who were not ready. Some say the Book of Thoth contained 42 scrolls, mirroring the 42 divine principles of Marat. Others whisper that it was a singular text containing all true magic, encoded in metaphor, paradox, and dream logic, accessible only to those who had purified the mind and soul. But here's where the tale deepens. The Book of Thoth, many scholars believe, is not a physical book at all, but a template of consciousness, a sacred code embedded in myth, ritual, and sacred geometry. It is the blueprint that gave rise to the Hermetic tradition, to Kabbalah, to the Tarot, and even to secret societies like the Rosicrucians and the Freemasons. During the Greco-Egyptian period, Thoth was merged with the Greek god Hermes, becoming Hermes Trismegistus, thrice great, master of the three worlds: body, soul, and spirit. His teachings, found in the Corpus Hermeticum and echoed in the Emerald Tablet, became the foundation of Hermeticism, a spiritual science that sought to know the all by knowing the self. So why has this knowledge been hidden? Because true power, power over one's mind, one's reality, is dangerous in the wrong hands. Throughout history, institutions, religious, political, even scientific, have sought to domesticate consciousness, to replace gnosis with dogma, inner knowing with external authority. The Book of Thoth was never truly lost. It was occulted, deliberately veiled, because its truths were meant to be earned, not given, meant to be unlocked only by those who could read not with their eyes, but with the soul. In every age there have been whispers, echoes, remnants. And now, in an era of mass distraction and digital illusions, the call to remember returns. The ancient doors are creaking open once more. But what exactly did this hidden book teach? What codes did it conceal about the nature of mind, matter, and magic? We turn now to the core teachings themselves. To understand the Book of Thoth is to understand that language is magic, and that symbols are not just representations but living gateways. This was the book's greatest secret. Words create worlds. In ancient times, words were not used casually. To speak was to shape reality. Thoth, the master of words and symbols, was not simply a scribe. He was an architect of vibration. Every glyph, every syllable, carried frequency. And frequency is form in motion. At the heart of the Book of Thoth lies the concept of symbolic cognition, the idea that the universe speaks in symbols, not sentences. The pyramid, the ankh, the ibis, the lotus, these are not decorations of ancient thought. They are keys, codes to unlock consciousness. And what were they unlocking? According to Hermetic lore, the Book of Thoth taught how to navigate the multidimensional nature of reality, how to pierce the illusion of separation and recognize the unity of all things. It explained that the physical world is only the outermost layer of being, a projection of subtler forces. Thought, will, spirit. It's here we meet the law of correspondence, one of the 7 Hermetic principles. As above, so below, as within, so without. The Book of Thoth didn't just describe this truth, it encoded it. Through sacred geometry, ritual movement, and poetic paradox, it trained the initiate to see the pattern beneath the surface. And within that pattern lies the understanding that reality is not fixed. It is malleable, shaped by perception and intention. In the book, this was taught through the concept of Ma'at, the principle of cosmic balance. Not merely ethical order, but metaphysical equilibrium. Light and shadow, chaos and form, all in dynamic dance. When aligned with Ma'at, one's words could harmonize with the will of the cosmos. But when misused, words could distort reality, fragment the soul, enslave the mind. This too was part of the book's teaching, that magic is not tricks and spells, it is alignment. It is knowledge of the laws behind manifestation, and the wisdom to move with them. The Book of Thoth was said to teach the initiate how to speak the hidden names of the gods, words with creative power. Read the Akashic records, the memory of the cosmos. Construct a Merkaba, a light body vehicle for spiritual travel. Understand dreams as messages from higher realms, and even open portals between planes of existence. But this knowledge was wrapped in riddles, dreams, and paradoxes. You were not told what to believe, you were taught how to see. Initiates were given puzzles, symbolic initiations. They would meditate on glyphs for days, journey through inner temples in altered states, guided not by doctrine, but by the living language of the soul. This is why the tarot, later developed in medieval Europe, is believed by many to be a fragmented echo of the Book of Thoth. Each card, the magician, the tower, the high priestess, contains archetypal energy, keys to unlock levels of consciousness. Not fortune-telling, but spiritual cartography. And this is also why the book was considered dangerous. In the wrong hands, this knowledge could be used to enslave minds rather than liberate them, to program reality through media, symbolism, and ritual. Not for awakening, but for control. The Book of Thoth was a mirror. What you found in it depended on who you were when you read it. And now you may be wondering, how deep does the rabbit hole go? In the next part of our journey, we descend even further into the myths, misconceptions, and deeper currents that swirl around this sacred text. The deeper you go into the Book of Thoth, the more it begins to defy logic. Not because it is irrational, but because it speaks to a higher form of reason. It reveals a universe structured not only by laws, but by mystery, where paradox is not a problem to be solved, but a portal to deeper understanding. And here lies one of the greatest truths hidden within its pages. The opposites are not enemies, but mirrors. The serpent devours itself to be reborn. This is the principle of duality within unity, one of the core mysteries of Thoth's teachings. Day and night, male and female, light and darkness. Each only exists in relation to the other. The Book of Thoth teaches the initiate not to choose sides, but to transcend the illusion of polarity and see the whole. This wisdom was encoded in the Ouroboros, the serpent eating its own tail, a symbol of eternal return, of time folding in on itself. To understand this is to begin to escape linear thinking and to awaken to the cyclical, alchemical nature of reality. But not all who approached this wisdom did so with clean hands. Over centuries, rumors swirled that secret societies, elite occultists, and rogue magicians sought fragments of the Book of Thoth for their own agendas. Some claimed it was used to manipulate symbols in mass media, to embed archetypes and emotional triggers in art, advertising, and even religion. Not to enlighten, but to enslave. Was this ancient knowledge weaponized? It's no coincidence that Thoth's teachings emphasize the power of the image, the spell of sound, the sacredness of silence. Modern systems of mind control, from mass media to AI, mirror these same principles. The book taught that perception shapes belief, and belief shapes reality. He who controls the lens of perception controls the soul. Yet amidst the shadow, the light still glimmers. There are those who believe the Book of Thoth was never lost, only disguised. Some say it lives on in the tarot, others in the Hermetica, and still others believe it exists internally, encoded in the human psyche itself. The very structure of your mind, its dreams, intuitions, inner visions, could be the modern version of the book. You don't need to find it, only remember it. And what of Thoth himself? To the Egyptians, he was not merely a myth, but a principle of consciousness, a living archetype that could be invoked. In ritual, the initiate would become Thoth, merging with the divine scribe to gain access to cosmic memory, spiritual insight, and multidimensional vision. Later, this archetype would evolve into Hermes Trismegistus, the legendary teacher of alchemy and the author of the Emerald Tablet. The tablet's most famous line, "That which is above is like that which is below," is pure Thothian wisdom. It points to a fractal universe where every part contains the whole. And just like the Book of Thoth, the Emerald Tablet cannot be read in a linear way. It must be meditated upon, felt, allowed to rearrange your perception of reality. So here we arrive at a choice. Do you treat this as myth and let it slip away like a forgotten dream? Or do you accept that these fragments, these symbols, these whispers from the past, may be calling you back to something your soul already knows? Because the Book of Thoth may not be a manuscript bound in gold. It may be your very consciousness, waiting to be decoded. And now that you've seen through the veil, the question remains: what will you do with this knowing? What good is sacred knowledge if it remains dormant? The true purpose of the Book of Thoth was never to entertain or even to inform. It was to initiate, to catalyze inner alchemy. And while you may not hold the original scrolls in your hands, the wisdom they contain can still be accessed through practice, awareness, and symbolic re-engagement. Here are the keys the ancients left behind, and how to use them. 1. Begin with symbolic meditation. The Book of Thoth was a symbolic book. Its glyphs were not to be read, but entered like doorways. Begin with one powerful symbol: the Eye of Horus, the Ankh, or the Ouroboros. Sit in silence. Focus on the image. Let it speak to you, not with logic but with sensation, emotion, and intuition. Journal what arises. These symbols act as mirrors of the soul, showing you forgotten parts of yourself. 2. Practice the word as wand. Thoth was the lord of sacred speech. In Hermetic magic, words are spells. Spelling is no accident. What you say shapes what you see. So become conscious of your language. Each morning, speak a simple affirmation aloud. I align with divine wisdom. I speak only what serves truth and clarity. Feel the vibration of the words in your body. Repeat until your mind shifts. This isn't wishful thinking, it's energetic programming. 3. Engage the inner scribe. Thoth recorded the movements of stars and the emotions of gods. You are your own scribe. Begin a ritual of sacred journaling. Each evening, ask yourself, what did I see today that was symbolic? What patterns repeated? What message was hidden in the mundane? This develops symbolic perception, the lens through which Thothian wisdom becomes personal. You begin to see the world not as chaos, but as oracular order. 4. Use the tarot as a portal, not a prediction. If the tarot is indeed a surviving fragment of the Book of Thoth, then treat it as a meditative mirror, not a fortune cookie. Choose a single card at random and ask, what aspect of myself is this revealing today? Study its imagery. Feel its archetypal emotion. Let the card open a story within you. Tarot becomes less about answers and more about awakening your inner mythos. 5. Ritual as alignment. You don't need incense, robes, or pyramids to perform Thothian ritual. What you need is intention aligned with presence. Even a cup of tea, prepared and consumed with reverence, can become a ritual of consciousness. Light a candle and speak a silent intention into the flame. This is the heart of Hermetic practice, turning the ordinary into the sacred. Common pitfalls to avoid. Over-intellectualization. The Book of Thoth was never meant to be merely studied, it was meant to be lived. Blind imitation. This path is not about mimicking the ancients. It's about reawakening their wisdom in a modern key. Seeking power instead of truth. The true initiate seeks not control, but coherence, to become one with the divine pattern. You are not a passive student of hidden knowledge. You are a living glyph, a walking spell, a spark of Thoth's own fire. The Book of Thoth is not outside you. It's waiting to be activated within you. The Book of Thoth was never just a book. It was, and still is, a living current, an ancient resonance vibrating through the bones of civilization, through the architecture of symbols, through your very DNA. It whispers in dreams, it hides in silence, and it waits for those with eyes to see and ears to hear. What we've uncovered is not the full truth, but a glimpse behind the veil. A spark. From the sacred geometry encoded in pyramids, to the metaphors encrypted in the tarot, to the Hermetic principles that mirror the divine laws of creation, we are reminded of something ancient mystics always knew, that the external world is but a mirror of the inner temple, that the true Book of Thoth is not written in ink, but in light, vibration, and intention. So now the question is no longer, does the Book of Thoth exist? The real question is, are you ready to read it? Not with your eyes, but with your soul. Not as a collector of secrets, but as a seeker of truth. Because the path of the initiate is not an escape from the world. It is a return to a deeper, clearer, more mystical version of it. A world where synchronicities are the alphabet, where silence becomes scripture, and where your very life becomes the scroll unfolding. If anything in you stirred, sparked, or remembered during this journey, then you've already taken the first step. Now, the real journey begins. If you're ready to explore more ancient mysteries, decode forgotten symbols, and awaken the divine code within, subscribe to Esoteric Glyph and walk this path with us. Together, we'll illuminate what was hidden and remember what was lost.